We're going to be talking about Prescriptive Scenarios beta today. Just a quick sort of high level insight as to how we're going to run this program. For alpha, we ran it with 4 different partners, 4 different lending and banking partners. For beta, we're going to be working with 10. We're going to be choosing 10. So remember, this presentation will be super fast, 15 minutes, and then the rest is going to be conversation back and forth. So stay tuned to the end so you can see how to become one of those 10. I know we got like 60 or 70 of you already requesting to be part of it. So we're going to work through how to get into to be one of the 10 beta, and then what happens to everyone else that wanted to be in beta that couldn't make it into the first 10. So just wanted to give you that high level real quick, and then we can get rolling. So Mike, I know you had created this slide for me. 2016 is when we started thinking about Sales Boomerang, and I was going to tell you a story about Sales Boomerang, but I'm going to do a little switch up here. I'm inspired to share a different story, a story from when I was about 23 years old, about 17 years ago, at a consumer electronics show, where the product developer for the Nintendo Wii was speaking about his team and his motivation about rolling out the Wii. And what he said still resonates with me today, still inspires me in many ways today. And I wanted to share that because what he said was, this guy was one of 8 kids. He was the middle kid. And he said it was so hard for him to figure out how, and by the way, the story gets really complicated and long, but I'll give you a quick one of it. And he said it was really hard to bring his brothers and sisters together and his mom and dad together to do some kind of family activity that everyone would enjoy. 8 kids, it's hard to kind of figure out what everyone likes. And so he was excited that he and his team were working on a program that was going to digitally bring families together that everyone in the family could enjoy. And their mission and purpose and vision was to bring families together this way. And they were more excited about that than moving units. Of course, they needed to move units because if they didn't move units, they would be out of business. But what they were more excited is about changing the landscape of digital entertainment for families. And as you know, you've seen the numbers for Wii, but what's more important is how they've inspired other digital entertainment systems to create something similar. Xbox has a Kinect, a PlayStation, I don't remember exactly what it is, what it's called, but everyone has created something where families are engaged, but also action. They're moving. They're not just playing one person playing one game. And so why I share this with you guys today, why am I sharing this story about how, instead of how Sales Boomerang got started, is because that is exactly what has got me so fired up about what we're going to talk about today. It's not about the amount of alerts and amount of products that you guys are going to get from us in the industry. It's about how we're going to transform and impact the entire lending industry, financial industry, and the consumers of this industry. That's what got me so excited about what we're talking about today. And after 3 long years of working on this concept, it's being rolled out. So Mike, sorry, I know we had planned to talk about something else, but I couldn't not share that story because that's why I'm fired up. But there is a couple slides that I do want to talk about real quick. You know, we started with an idea, and it was literally like a science experiment. We had this idea about taking a look at your database and just letting you know, if someone needs your help. But like every great idea, it evolves. Even the light bulb, okay? The light bulb seemed perfect, but even the light bulb evolves and gets better and better. And right now we're in that stage. We have evolved, and what we're going to talk about today is how what we've evolved to is going to impact every single one of you and every single person, every single company in the industry, period. It's just a matter of when they're going to be able to take advantage of it. So, Mike, hand it off to you. Thanks for everyone for listening to me for a minute.
Yeah, so hey everybody, I'm the VP of Product here at Sales Boomerang. Really like that light bulb analogy and evolving over time. It really fits into the story where we are 2021 today. We have a mission, which is ensure every borrower has the right loan right now. As we're making new product decisions, as we're thinking about what we want to do next, as we're thinking about how we want to service the industry next, we are always taking this into consideration, ensuring that every borrower, your borrowers, have the right loan right now. It's what we keep going back to. And this idea of 100% relevance. Relevance can mean different things for different companies, but what we want to offer you, what we're building, the platform that we're building for the industry is to ensure that whatever relevance means to you, that we can provide that for you. It's making sure that the alerts are very tuned in and you only want to see tuned in alerts, we can do that. If you want a wider breadth of alerts, we can do that as well. And so that's really where Prescriptive Scenarios are starting to open that up. We've created a back end that allows us to, it's called the Scenario Creator. We can create scenarios based on what you as as our lenders need to reach that 100% relevance goal that we have set for ourselves. And talking about prescriptive scenarios, it's an evolution of our alerts. If you're a client today, you know about our alerts. For those that don't, we have what I like to call offensive and defensive alerts. Defensive alerts are your borrowers are taking action, they're doing something. They're out there listing their home or applying for a mortgage with a competitor, somebody that you've helped before, and we're letting you know that. And then our offensive alerts are the ones that you can reach out to your borrower and let them know that they have an opportunity. Prescriptive scenarios fall into that bucket, but unlike our current alerts, they give you more information, and we are using Sales Boomerang data to power that additional information and provide it in a way that's new and different. And it's really going to be the new status quo for us moving forward. And that evolution, breaks down like this. I talked about the traditional alerts. We were tracking one type of data. We were tracking the borrower or the property or the loan. And then we introduced Debt Watch, and it was our proof of concept for what prescriptive scenarios became. We started to track multiple data types. We had one overarching criteria, one set of criteria that you could set for Debt Watch, and no validation or anything. So that's what really made it a proof of concept, putting it out there, making sure that it was working the way that we intended, making sure that it was delivering the results for our clients the way that we intended. And then that evolved into what prescriptive scenarios are. We're tracking all three types of data, the borrower, the property, and the loan with the prescriptive scenario to make a fully qualified lead. So we're going to be tracking the credit and making sure that they're credit qualified for you. And then additional pieces of data, which I'll get into as we look at each type of prescriptive scenario. But that specific criteria, that we can also bring it down to the loan type. So we know that a conventional loan should have different criteria than an FHA loan or VA loan. We also know that certain states like Texas, when you're talking about cash out, FHA and VA are off the table. We can make sure that they are not being triggered for you, and so that they're taken out of the mix. And then we have all of the other prerequisites as well that we can apply and tweak there as needed. And then multiple criteria is needed. If you want to set a conventional prescriptive scenario, a conventional cash out prescriptive scenario for a $250,000 home, different than a $500,000 home, and we can work with you why that's important to you. We have the ability to set that up. And then I think the most important part about the prescriptive scenarios is this data validation. We're increasing the match rates that we're getting because we're validating against public record data, and then making sure that whatever the most recent data is, the data that you're sending over to us, or the public record data, that's the data that we're using. So all of this combined into creating the best alerts that we have created up to this point. And again, I'm going to say fully qualified lead again. It's really important. So the prescriptive scenarios that we do have, we have rate and term. So that's, these are industry terms. You guys should know this. Rate and term, it lets you know when your borrower is in need of a rate and term loan. If rates are good enough, are they credit qualified? What can they benefit from? And really moving our language, the Sales Boomerang language, into the language of your loan officers. Right now, the way that we deliver them back is, hey, we have hit this delta for you. We have hit this delta that you wanted to be alerted on for that rate to go over the finish line. Where we're moving towards very shortly during this beta, it's going to happen during this beta, is you can save $210 a month on your borrower's loan. They can save that much money, and starting to speak in that language. With cash out, we already have that. We tell you how much tappable equity is. When we deliver you a cash out alert, we tell you this person has this much tappable equity. And because it's a cash out alert, they are credit qualified already. Very important. And then the
Mike,
last one.
May I jump in for just a second, Mike? Just 1 second, sure. And ask. You had said something, but you kind of brushed over it. You said you'll be able to put in the benefit and not the criteria, correct?
Yes, yeah, we're doing that as well. You can set, instead of setting the rate delta, you can set how much you want triggered on. If it takes $120, if you know that $120 a month is going to get your borrowers over the finish line, or if it's $200, you'll be able to set that criteria in our system as well.
I think that's, I just wanted you to repeat that, because I think that's so critical. Instead of having to think, what do I need to set my criteria at to get somewhere? You just set the benefit, and our system will make sure we use your criteria and find those opportunities. I just think it's such an important difference when you set the benefit instead of trying to think what the criteria needs to be. So just keep going. I just thought that's something important for people to hear again. That's all.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. So FHA MI removal, it really is the easiest call that you can make, making sure that those customers that you have with FHA get the opportunity to know that they can remove that mortgage insurance from their loan and stop spending that extra money. It can be, upwards of $1,800 a year for some people, and that's a lot of money that all you have to do is call them up. Hey, you now have enough equity in your home, and we're determining equity based on not only their payment schedules and what they're paying, but also the value of home that we're bringing in from the data that we collect. So it really is a true equity of their home and letting you know when they can take off that mortgage insurance. So for Alpha, as Alex said at the beginning, we've been working with 4 partners to ensure stability and collect initial results. So it was really important before we went into the beta and brought more people in that we knew that it was working the way that it should, that the alerts were triggering, and they are, and it's great. We've gotten a lot of really good feedback, positive feedback from the clients that we're working with during Alpha, but we've also gotten some results. And so one of the pieces of results is that there's been 2 times the response rates for some of our clients on the emails that they're sending out. And this is in comparison to our alerts, not comparison to any other random thing. It's 2 times response rates on mortgage inquiry alerts compared to the alerts that we're sending out for these prescriptive scenarios. And in fact, if we looked at equity, it would actually be even more than 2x response rates, which is incredible. And then in addition to that, 2x conversion rates as well. So as we're looking at the conversion rates that are coming over for our partners in this beta, they're seeing 2x conversion rates as compared to our initial conversion rates on our more normal alerts. So that also, these results are really exciting and speak for themselves about how these could benefit your company. All right, so going into the beta, Alex promised we would go over both the details and then, basically a checklist of whether or not you're right for the beta. So the beta details for coming into the beta, there's a $10 per alert charge for each alert that comes over. This is a reduced rate compared to what we're going to charge when we fully launch. This is, we're expecting it to be about double, maybe triple this. We don't really know yet. We're pulling in that conversion data on the beta to make sure that we're hitting the right value and the right return on investment for everybody that wants these alerts triggered in their system. And then partners, as Alex said, we're limiting it to 10 partners admitted into and putting into an onboarding queue. And what that onboarding queue is that we're making sure that we're releasing it in the right time, 1 or 2 partners at a time, and we'll let you know what that schedule is if you get admitted into the program. And then key dates. The full launch, we're expecting to be early April, but if you get into the beta, if you're part of the beta, you get to keep this beta pricing until June 30th. And that is a thank you for being a part of the beta and helping us out. Alex, do you want to say something? I saw you jump back on.
No, that's perfect. I just wanted to be here in case you needed to ask me anything.
Cool. Yep. All right. So are you right for beta? I think these questions, just ask yourself, ask about your company. Are you willing to pay for something that is not fully proven? It's a good question. We're working through this with you. We want to be partners in this with you, but to be an early adopter, to be somebody that's willing to come, it's a good question to ask yourself and ask your company. Are you willing to pay for something that is not fully proven? Number 2, are you willing to commit your time to helping us continue to evolve? It's, our request for you, which I'll go over on the next slide. Are you willing to add some time in to make sure that you're getting these new alerts first before anybody else and seeing the results? And then do you have at least 30,000 records? Because we're limiting it to 10, we want to make sure that the people that we're bringing in have enough records to be able to support and trigger enough alerts so that we can get as much conversion data and as much alert data back as possible. So these are the key things. Now, if you really want to be a part of the beta and for some reason one of these doesn't jive with you, feel free to send Alex or I an email directly. Let us know. Maybe we'll make an exception, but we just want, these are the key things that you should be asking yourself if you're right for the beta. And then what we're asking of you, go ahead, Alex.
Real quick. Yeah. So if you go back to that slide, question number 1 and 2.
The puppy one, come on.
Question number 1 and 2 are the big ones you should be asking yourselves, right? That's most important. If you answer yes to those, then the qualifying number of records is like Mike said, hey, email us so we can talk about it. But if you're truly answering yes to the top 2, you may be the right fit. And if you're answering no, that's okay. The beta customers that will finish, you will then get the fully baked product, and you won't have to spend as much time with us and have to take the risks. So those 2 are the most. I just wanted to make sure I reiterate, those 2 are the most important things to answer.
All right, so our beta requirements. Number 1, work with us to provide weekly application data. So we want to work with you to make sure that it's converting. We want to make sure that we can pull that back in, tie it back to the right alerts. And this could be done many ways. It could come back through the CRM, where we have somebody sending us a Domo report every week right now, one of our alpha partners. And then we have one of our other alpha partners just giving us a report every week to make sure that we can tie it back to the alerts that have been triggered. Number 2, access to the LOs that are using the alerts. We love working with the full companies and the branch managers and the representatives, but the LOs that are actually getting the alerts, we want to hear the good and the bad. We want them to understand that these alerts are qualified alerts, so they should be treated a little bit differently. This isn't going in and saying, hey, there is a possible opportunity I might be able to help you with. No, you are qualified and I can help you get a cash out. You are qualified and I can help you get a rate and term loan, and this is how it's going to benefit you today. And so changing that conversation, understanding how the LOs see it, and seeing what they would need to make this better, because that's really what beta is about. How do we continue to make this better and more of what the industry needs? And then finally, publicly share the results in a case study. Those are the only 3 requirements we have of you and your time, but those are the big ones we want to share. And then we can finally get to the puppy that was trying to get up there.
Something before we get into some questions and things from the group here, if they have any. What's a big piece of this is what Mike just mentioned. Why the feedback is so important is because you are going to change the way your team communicates with these people. Remember how important you've made it for everyone on your origination team to ask to pull someone's credit. Like, hey, before we can talk about anything, we got to pull your credit. And you know how uncomfortable borrowers are. Hey, stop it before you ask me personal information. Can we get to know each other a little bit, right? Like, they don't want to give up all their information up front. This conversation is different with this. You don't have to get them to commit to a credit pool. What you want your customer to do is go, yes, this sounds great. What do I have to do? Let them ask. Well, we will get to a credit pool at some point, but here's what I want to make sure first from you. And if all these things, right? Imagine the difference in conversation when the threatening piece of give me your credit, let me get real personal information from you as the number 1 reason to keep going in a conversation, that can stop. Now you can get into the guidance part of the conversation first, and credit is the last thing, right? Now that you're interested, now that you're excited, now that you know what you want, now let's just confirm you're good to go, right? That's the difference. That's the power of this thing. So, and very important difference. So do we have some questions there?
Great.
There's a great question in the chat.
All right. Mike, do you want to take it? Let's see. I'm trying to pull it up on my other.
All right. So if I set prescriptive criteria to something simple and it triggers 500 alerts from my database, I get billed $5,000. Is there some suggested way to approach this so the alerts are the most valuable ones? Oh, so this is a great question, and definitely should have covered this. So part of what we learned in Alpha was exactly what Ken in the chat brings up, and we have created a new piece of technology that allows you to limit the amount of alerts that you get per scenario per week. So let's just say, you have these 500 alerts, but you want to make sure that you're only getting 50 alerts per week. They would trigger over the course of 10 weeks. And in addition to that, if your criteria changed over that period of time, or if person's credit changed over that period of time, we would only be triggering the ones that are most important to you. Now, because it is a new piece of technology and it's part of the beta, right now we're just skimming the ones off the top. But where we're moving towards with that, as we evolve this product, is for you to be able to prioritize and hone in on which ones you want to see first, second, and third, and being able to trigger in that order. But right now it would just be, hey, put all of these triggers into a queue and divvy them out so that your loan officers can handle them, so that we're not overwhelming you, and so that, you know, if you do have a budget, we can stay within that budget as well. So really, really great question. Thank you, Ken.
What else do we have? Any other questions? I know we had one in a Q&A section that asked, hey, we're already a client, already using Sales Boomerang. Can we just get the prescriptive scenarios turned on? The answer to that question is yes. If you want to be part of the beta program, you'll be one of the 10 that would be a part of it. But we have to check the box on the things that Mike talked about. But the answer is yes. It says, I would say your name, but it says anonymous. So I'm just asking that. Answering it here in front of everyone. So yes, even though we have a lot of people on this call who are already clients, and you'd still have to be accepted into that beta program, making sure that you check all those boxes. What else do we have?
Ken had another question here, which is, what is the expected price alert if we don't do beta? We're still determining that, Ken. It really depends on the final conversion numbers and alert numbers we come out with, but we're expecting it to be at least double.
Great way of saying it, Mike. At least double.
Tell me how this would be better than the alert program UWM's marketing program offers. Are you familiar with it? I'm not familiar with it. Alex, are you familiar with UWM's marketing program?
Well, I'm not sure about the marketing program itself. If you're talking about all the notifications that UWM delivers to their brokers, that is powered by Sales Boomerang. So we are familiar with those. I'm not sure about anything else outside of that, but all the intelligence that you're seeing from the Brand 360, that is already powered by Sales Boomerang, and UWM will be looking to participate in the prescriptive scenarios once it's rolled out live. So we're going to be talking to them as well about offering this on that level to their team. So, but that's, unless you're talking about something else, I'm not familiar with any other program. And Mike, you could probably stop sharing the screen. This way they can see us and we can be more personal.
I thought everybody would want to see the puppy.
Oh, that's true. You might be right. Everyone, if I'm wrong, just say puppy and we'll put it back up. Yes, we'll follow up with a recording to that question. What else? Anything else on people's minds?
Brand 360 is powered by Sales Boomerang.
Yeah, so Brand 360, Crystal, right now, Brand 360 gets all of our standard and original notification. It's connected to the original notification system. So listing, inquiry, equity, credit improvement, all of those, rate, all of that stuff. This is different because this is full loan scenarios. And that is something definitely that UWM is interested in. It's, and we will be talking to them, but right now it's just not part of what's being offered, period. You're getting so it replaces alerts with actual loan scenarios. Hopefully that answers your question there, Crystal. What else can we answer for you guys? Awesome. Thanks, Crystal. So there you go, Mike. Good question for you.
So actual loan scenarios, including current pricing. I don't understand the question.
Pricing the rates. So making sure we're tied to their existing rates.
Oh, I got you. So like OB pricing?
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that's where we're going with the second version of rate and term. As we continue to improve it, we'll tie into, you know, if you have Optimal Blue or a different pricing engine, that's, you know, part of our next evolution. Right now, these are just the alerts triggering through. And if that's important to you, Ken, that's definitely something, you know, we're always looking for more information about exactly what you're looking for. And so, yeah, if you send it over, that's always helpful for us.
Yeah, and Mike, why don't you share with people, because they might be wondering, hey, if they're not using our pricing, what pricing are we using? What rates are we using? We are using current rates. If you want to give a little overview on that.
Yeah, so we're using Optimum Blue's indices nationwide rates right now to power our rate and term. We're also always looking at new opportunities. We're testing out some other rates as well, but really our goal is to tie into Optimal Blue directly so that we can bring those rates back to you. The second version, I imagine that'll be a Q2 initiative. So sometime in the second quarter, we're hoping to work that out with Optimum Blue and get that all set up.
Good questions, Ken. Cool.
So we have.
Who's excited?
About 1 minute. I'm excited, Richard. Who else is excited?
Yeah. Yeah, this is exactly why I shared that story about the we earlier. It's like, it's not just the program. It's about how this program is going to impact the industry and the consumers of this industry. It's the historical impact that this will make is something that we'll all look back at together and go, okay, that's when that change happened in that industry. This is one of those moments that it's going to impact the way we look at the financial industry, specifically right now, mortgage lending, but in general. So I'm excited.
I'm going to answer Maggie's question real quick, and then we can jump off. Okay. So Maggie asked, will the FOC letters be different? Yes, we can customize the FOC letters for the prescriptive scenarios. So your FOC letters that are going out on your mortgage inquiries can be one, and then for each of the scenarios, cash out, rate and term, and FHA, you can have different ones for each of them as well. We have templates and we have suggested FOC language for each of those, and we're really recommending that you use that to improve the return rates.
And Mike, quick question for you. If we have 50, 60, 70 that already kind of check the box, said they want to be in beta, but we're letting only 10 in, how will you determine, is this going to be one-on-one interviews with their teams to figure out who fits the bill, or how are you and your team going to choose the 10?
I mean, I think we'll look at all the candidates, make sure that they're the right kind of business, and that they have both the desire and the requirements that we talked about earlier in the presentation. Okay,
got it. Excellent. Well, thanks everyone. This was great. If you have other questions, throw them out there. We're still on here. If you're all set, then we will be looking to connect with you, and Mike will be leading the conversations and choosing the beta partners for us. But we greatly appreciate everyone's time and participation and involvement. We love everyone's questions and letting us know where you're listening from, and we hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully you walk away from this excited to be in this industry and to see how this plays out over this coming quarter, the rest of this year, and obviously the rest of the existence of this industry. So thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone. Mike, did you have anything you want to add or close with?
No, just thank you. This has been, I've been with Sales Boomerang a year, and this is super exciting to be able to continue this evolution. And like I said earlier, ensuring that every borrower is in the right loan right now. That this gets us closer to that than I feel we have been before. And these products are just going to keep getting better. We have a lot of ideas to continue to make them better. And any ideas that you guys bring to the beta, we'll continue to make them better. So if you're excited about contributing to the next evolution of this, definitely let us know.
There's a couple
I love
questions
it, Mike.
in the chat.
Oh, some more questions. Okay. Martha, would you be reaching out to Bank of England? Yes, absolutely. I know they've been asking for a long time to be part of the beta, so we'll definitely be talking with them. Thanks, Martha. Is there any criteria that the borrower has to be a borrower you've serviced before, or if you have a list of new possibilities, will the system work for the scenarios for that scenario also? Crystal, I'm not sure. Mike, did you understand that question? Just want to make sure we answer.
Yeah, I think it's saying, do they have to be somebody that you've worked with before? So with any of our Sales Boomerang alerts, we look for somebody that you're going to have a better result with a relationship that you already have. But if you wanted to take new leads and put them into our system, we will trigger in those alerts as well.
Perfect. Crystal, you asked great questions. And
thank you, Crystal. Thank you, Ken. Thank you, everybody that asked questions.
Cool. We can hang out here, Mike, for another minute or two in case somebody has a late question that maybe they haven't asked. But thanks, everyone.
Sure.
You can drop off if you have to. Is this only for brokers? No. This actually is Dixie. Probably 95% of the groups that we work with are lenders and banks and are on an enterprise level. So it's typically not for brokers, even though we have a few that are excellent that we work with. It's typically not who it's designed for. But we love brokers. We actually speak at the conferences with all of you guys. Sure, Dixie. Great name, by the way. Cool, Mike. Well, I think that was great.
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks for everybody that attended.